Y'all can hear me? Hold on. There we go.
Boom, there it is. We got you.
There we go. What's up?
Man, what's happening?
Nothing, man. Just here at the studio. So if it's too loud, I'll tell them to turn it down. But I came up here to do this, and we're putting pedal steel on some songs. So if you hear just a whining ass country steel guitar, that's what it is.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. A little acoustic in the background.
No, man. Look, we appreciate you making it work. We know you had a lot of stuff going on today.
Y'all can hear me now?
Yeah, we're good to go.
All right,
Cool. But yeah, man, I was just saying I appreciate you. I know you had a lot of stuff going on today, so I appreciate you squeezing us in.
Yeah, man, of course. Anytime. No problem.
So this podcast, the way we do it, like it's pretty, like we don't really have any agenda. It's just kind of laid back. So, I mean, just having a conversation. I guess we'll start with a fun talking point. We spent yesterday with your boys, Gary and Charlie, watching them try to shoot doves, attempting to shoot doves.
I mean, I missed my fair share on Saturday as well, so I can't blame them.
Yeah,
I went through three or four boxes on Saturday.
Yeah, I
got a bruise on my shoulder the size of a softball.
Yeah. No, I mean that's just a sign of a good dove field, right? You know, if you got bruises. So let's do this. If anyone that on this podcast doesn't know who you are, like give us a little background on who Jon Langston is, what you do, and how you got started and all that.
So I'm from Georgia, and I'm Jon Langston from Georgia, and I play country music. I live in Nashville. We tour a lot. We go out and have a good time. I got a great group of guys that go out and travel with us. And, I've been doing this since 2013. I was in college playing football, and I got hurt, got too many concussions, so I couldn't play anymore. So that's when I turned to music, and that helped me get through that tough time where I couldn't, I played every year since I was, 6 years old. So, when they told me I couldn't play football anymore, I was pretty down. I was pretty depressed, and because that's all I ever knew. That's all I worked for. I wasn't planning on going to the NFL or anything, but I wanted to finish college ball, but second year into it, when you get your sixth concussion and you're and I was blind. My last one, I was blind for like 15 minutes. It was like the scariest moment of my life.
Good gosh.
It was crazy. And right then, I knew I was done after that. But when we had to sit down with all the coaches and the doctors and stuff, and they were like, well, we think you're done. I was like, yeah, I think so too. And we all decided to. But we had a brand new head coach, and he let me stay there and honored the scholarship so I could finish up school, which was very, very nice of him. And, but I still started getting into music because I wanted to fill that void of working towards something and setting goals and stuff. Because, being a competitive person and being someone who just wants to work hard, finding something else to do besides football. So, I started putting my emotions into writing songs, fell in love with it, I started, playing them for people. And I had a buddy down in Atlanta who had a studio in his little basement. It was like, the vocal booth was in his closet, but it was still pretty cool. And I went down there at, my mom, it was like towards Christmas break, and she was like, what do you want for Christmas? I was like, really? I just need a couple $100 to go record a few songs. So if you want to give that toward, that's all I want for Christmas. You ain't got to give me nothing, just a little studio time. So that's what we did for my Christmas present. And I went in there and recorded a song called Forever Girl. And I didn't even know how to I Googled how to put a song on iTunes, and I was just doing I didn't say oh, I want to be a country music singer. I want to do this. I want to go tour. I want to be a big superstar one day. That never crossed my mind. I was just doing it at the time just for fun. It was like, it was just for fun. And I never thought it could get to where it was today. But so I put the song on iTunes and did a little, music video, put it on YouTube, and it started getting shared all over Facebook. And I never really played. I mean, I played like a writer's round at a coffee shop or something in Bowling Springs, North Carolina, where my school was, for like 10 people, but never really played a show. But I had a buddy at Kennesaw State, and he said, "Hey man, we're having Chase Rice play our farm party. It was called the Delts of Hazard." It was just like this redneck throwdown. Like it was like the stage was like on a flatbed trailer, and they were like, "We want you to come open the show." And I'm like, "Okay, I've never played a full band show in my life, but we'll figure it out." So I called the guys out in Atlanta. And I was like, "Hey, we need to put a band together." So I went over there to that basement to my buddy's house. His name's Josh Manuel, and we stayed up all night, rehearsed a bunch of cover songs, and got no sleep. Went the next day, played the show. He's like, "We can't pay you nothing, but we got plenty of free beer." I was like, "Perfect.
That's great."
And so we played the show, and it was rough. Like it was like our first time ever playing together. My first time ever singing with there's like 800 college kids there. It was crazy. So we were just having fun at that time. And at the end I started, playing Forever Girl, the song that was out for like, a month or so at that time. And all these college kids just screaming every single word to Forever Girl and singing along. And I was like, so I remember like it was yesterday, just sitting there watching this. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is the best feeling in the world. I wrote a song by myself, and all these people are singing those words that I wrote down on a piece of paper. And to me, that was like the biggest reward ever. So I got off stage and I called my mom and said, "This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I'm going to write songs. I'm going to learn. I'm going to entertain people. I don't care how I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to figure it out." And so, I moved to Nashville, and without even, I never even been to Nashville. I just looked up a cheap apartment outside of Nashville and packed up a U-Haul and got my dog, and we just went up there and knew a couple. I knew like 2 or 3 guys in town at the time, and they helped me move in. And it was that's how I got to Nashville. It's just been a crazy ride ever since then, man. It's been nuts. Sorry I went on a little tangent there.
Dude, no man.
That's cool hearing that.
I always like when we have guests on here, and if they're in, like, I guess I call them like a passion-driven career, so to speak. I always like to hear how they got there, because no one's story is ever the same,
Yeah, it's not a yellow brick road you follow and you end up at this one spot. Everybody's got a different story how they get there.
Exactly. It's been a crazy ups and downs and loops and hitting the guardrails, but we're figuring it out. Like, so I moved to town, and I started, meeting people, going out to the bars and just meeting other songwriters and kind of networking, because I believe that's like the biggest thing here, especially in Nashville, like just networking with folks and making relationships and getting co-writes and just meeting people. And I remember it was like July 2014. It was like a couple months after I moved, and we were at Tin Roof, and I get a direct, a DM from, it says Red Akins. And I'm like, what? I was like, what in the world? Yeah. I was like, what? I had a few beers, so I was like, I don't know what to think of this. Do I contact her? Like, it said, holla at me, Red. It just gave me his number and like nothing else. So I'm sitting there about 4 or 5 beers deep, couple shots in, and I'm thinking like, okay, I definitely just don't need to call him tonight, call him tomorrow. So call him the next day. He's like, "Hey man, I I was riding with a friend of mine, and they were playing your songs on the truck, and I would love to meet you and talk music with you. And I'm just like, oh, this is awesome. Like,
yeah.
So he invited me over at his house, went over to his house that week, and we had a couple beers and just hung out and just talked music for like, it was about almost 2 hours or so, I guess. And at the end, I played him some songs I was working on. And at the end, before I left, I was about to walk out the door, and he's like, man, I think you got something. I want to help you, but I'm not going to help you if you're just going to be one of those guys who come into town and then, it gets hard and you just dip out and you just go back home. It's going to be tough, but if you really want to do this and be 100% in, I want to help you, and I want to sign you to a publishing deal. I want you to write with you and do all this stuff and help you along this this journey. I'm just sitting there like thinking that, it's like a dream having one of my songwriting.
Dude, how valuable was that?
Oh, dude, it was incredible. Like, I was just like, man, this is all I want to do. Like, I'm all in. You'll get 110% for me. And he said, all right, well, we're going to have a meeting next week with Sony ATV and talk publishing deal. And I was just like, what in the world? And then got a lawyer, and then there, had a couple meetings. And in October 2014, I was assigned a piece of paper to be writing full time as a songwriter. So that was just, and then I ended up living with Rhett for like a year and learning, all the hits he's had, and just being a fly on the wall when he's just there, just writing and just figuring out he was teaching me how to write a song. How, back then I was writing songs that were 4.5, 5 minutes long, and he's like, all right, we need to cut this in half. He was like, you got 4 verses in this, in this song. And so figuring out the structure and all these different things I was learning, it was really cool to learn from him. So
I bet it was. It's not like the guy doesn't have all the experience in the world,
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So you, this is a little bit of a side point, but that made me think you got to know Dan and Reed, the Brothers Hunt boys.
Oh yeah. I love Dan and Reed, man.
Yeah. They've been on this podcast before.
Dan was actually one of the first guys, because we both signed. He signed to Sony before I did, but I got there, and he was like one of the first guys I wrote with when I got to town. And we wrote this song called Cigarettes and Me. And, I've written so many songs with Dan and Reed as well, but we wrote Sunday Morning Heart with Dan and Reed.
Yeah.
And, so those boys, I love them to death. I love writing with it because, they're, you get in a room with both of them, and, they're brothers. So you got, Dan being the, trying to bully his little brother. It's just funny to be in the room with him trying to write a song. It's funny.
Yeah, he was on this podcast, and we started talking about deer backstraps and backstrap poppers, and then he said, I've got the craziest deer backstrap story that you've ever heard. I was like, all right, I'll play. I've heard some pretty crazy ones. And he told some story about some guy was coming to eat with them on their houseboat, and he didn't have a backstrap, and his dad saw a deer get hit on the road, and he drove over there and skinned the backstraps out with the Swiss Army knife.
That sounds about right.
And I was like, yeah, that's the craziest one I've ever heard. You got me there. I can't. That's definitely the craziest one I've heard.
That roadkill backstrap.
Roadkill poppers.
I tried to do that one. I saw a deer get hit before, and I went to go just check it out because it was a little buck, and I just want to go, check it out, see. And then I'm thinking it's dead. It ain't moving. I'm pulling up, and I don't know if I was just not paying attention or something, but I looked away and I went to grab its leg, and it popped up and freaking smacked me right in the face with its hoof and just runs off. I was like, oh my God. So ever since then, I'm like, I ain't messing with these roadkill deer, man.
No,
I ain't getting knocked out, man.
Yeah. So did you grow up in like a hunting family? Is that something you grew up doing?
Yeah, we always were outside. My granddad was a hunter. My dad was a big fisherman. We'd fish all the time. We grew up going to Lake Burton. My granddad had a little house out there in Raven County. We go fish all the time, and I didn't really start getting into hunting until I was what's funny is, so that lake house, we family lake house, like it was the only place with like this little cable box, and it would have the outdoor channel on, and we didn't have cable back home.
Yeah.
So I would be watching all these hunting shows, and I would love it, and I would want to go. And but when I think it was in 8th grade, is a good buddy of mine back home. His family was big hunters, and they took me deer hunting for the first time, and it was awesome, and I fell in love with it. And you know, it's just I was hooked on it ever since. So I mean, you know, it's came a long way from, I feel like, you know, from high school, and I didn't start getting into it seriously till into college, and afterwards really diving into it. But I've always enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You and Gary went velvet hunting last weekend, huh?
Oh my gosh, I know that. It was
How'd that go?
I forgot about that. I'm glad you asked about that.
Man, we saw probably a total of like 6 deer. That hurricane screwed them all up, man. I had this beautiful, just this tall 8-pointer coming in every single evening, every single morning. And then that hurricane came in, and he was just gone. He was like a beautiful velvet deer. I was like, he might, you know, if I can stick this velvet, you know, with a bow, that'll be, I mean, I'll be happy. And they all just disappeared. I feel like it happened everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if the pressure went down, or, you know, it was like 30 all week, then it dropped down to 29, 20, high 28. So
that's crazy. It makes a difference. I don't know exactly what it does, but it sure does something to them.
Big weather front like that.
Even like the little doe family that hangs around there, they were gone. I didn't even see them.
Yeah.
And they were out there every, like, middle of the day, all day, just hanging out. I'd be going out there, you know, spraying, doing whatever, and they'd just hang out and watch me, and they weren't even out there.
Just gone.
Just gone. I mean, we saw this little spike running through, acting like a little crap, you know, but I don't know. So we hunted my place, those 3 sits, and then we went, so I was like, man, I don't know. We get to figure something out. So my buddy Tyler Farr was like, man, y'all need to come down here. If you ain't seen nothing, we got deer down here. And we didn't see nothing down there. We didn't see nothing anywhere. So I was like, Gary, I'm sorry. I felt so bad because he like set up all the cameras and stuff. And
oh yeah.
I was like, man, I'm sorry. He's like, man, I'm just, you know, it is what it is. I was like, yeah, but like, you know, he got like all this like camera stuff like for that velvet hunt. I was like, dang, dude.
Oh, he was fired up about some film.
I know, we all were. I was like, man, you know how it is. You go, I was like, man, I got a good feeling today.
This is the one. This is the one.
It's going to happen today.
And like that last hit, man, we were still in the blind till like, I mean, it was pitch black. I was like, man, I still could shoot one if it was 10 yards in front of me.
I can see my pins.
You know, I still can see my pin just a little.
Gary, if you turn the cell phone light on and shine it on my sight, I can shoot.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
That's funny. Well, you did to bring it. It looked like you had a fairly successful dove hunt. It looked like y'all
it was. Every Labor Day weekend, I try to go down. My buddy, his name's Eli Rowland. He's got a big farm down there in Middle Georgia, South Georgia. It's down in Johnson County, and dude, they every year they just, you know, plant about I think it was about 15 acres of sunflowers.
Ooh.
And dude, it's crazy. And we just set up all around. They got huge, they just fly right over the cotton. They got power lines running through, and about a 1.5-acre pond, 2-acre pond right there in the middle of it. In between.
Oh, it's perfect.
Oh, dude, they just, I mean, it's crazy. We stopped shooting at 5 and just watched probably 1,000 birds come in there.
Wow. See,
it was nuts.
I bet. I was going to ask you that if that dove hunt was like a go home thing, because like a go back to your home state thing, because we've talked about this before. There's something about dove season in the Southeast. It's like such a
it's an event.
Thing.
Yes.
And you get to do things when you're dove hunting that you don't get to do with any other kind of hunting. It's like you get to hang out with your buddies, and lots of times people do that, like cook lunch and hang out after, then you go and shoot that afternoon. And a lot of times you have folks doing what you did, like they drive home and see folks they ain't seen in a while.
Well, it was cool this year. So like I only had like the day to go. So my bass player, he just bought a little 4-seater plane. And during all this COVID stuff, he got his pilot's license.
What?
Yeah. So me and him, I was like, Steven, how long have you had your license for? He's like, about 3 months, since June. I was like, sweet.
Let's go.
So I hopped in the plane. So naturally, I just hopped in the plane with him, and we flew down there.
Yeah.
And so, like, it was awesome. Like that in itself it's just a cool experience, because you're not like it's not like your Southwest plane, 22,000 feet in the air. You're 5,500 feet, above the trees. You're flying through the Blue Ridge, Georgia mountains, through these peaks. And he's like, see that peak over there? We'd be crashing into trees if we were over there. But like, it was cool.
Well, stay over here.
This is great news. I'm glad we're over here.
Yeah, exactly. So we get there, and it's like you said, it's such a cultural thing. Like, they had lunch, and all their families there. You got people who, even Steven, like he's never dove hunted, and he's never been to one before. So I was like, man, just come along and sit and watch. And he started filming some, and he was like, dude, it sounds like the 4th of July out here. Like, this is like such a, and it was just like he was like, man, that's cool. Like, we get there, we had lunch, like you said, and people who like don't even like really hunt, like, are involved and like go out and hang out. And it's just like, it's just a fellowship. I think that's the main thing about opening weekend, I guess. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's what, so there's some boys, they have I don't know what exact, they have a business, I guess they'd call Spring Legion. And Gary has hunted with them and hung, and so they invited Gary down for their dove hunt, and Jordan and myself. And Gary told me, he said, I've never dove hunted before. I was like, dude, what? I said, man, you've been missing out. And I was trying to explain to him like what we were just talking about the whole just hanging out and everything. And so we were sitting there that morning, and it just cracked daylight, just getting shooting light. And at the other end of that field, there was a pile of people. There's way more people than that end on our end. And you couldn't even really see. Like a dove would have to be fairly close because it was just getting daylight, but a dove must have been that in the field. And and Gary was like, looked down at me, he goes, is that normal? I was like, yeah, it's pretty standard. There'd be like when it got more up in daylight and you could see, there'd be a dove fly through, and I think that poor thing got hit like 16 times on the way down. It just like,
yeah, those some of them, man. We were cleaning birds, and like I picked up a couple that it was just like, this just goes into the junk pile.
Yeah,
like there ain't nothing left.
Yeah, there was a few of those.
Demolished.
Yeah. But it was fun, man, especially because like Gary was there that morning, and then Charlie drove in that afternoon. They both were there yesterday afternoon to hunt, so we had a big time. But it was fun, especially when you get to see someone do it for the first time,
Oh yeah, where were y'all at?
Utica, Mississippi.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How far away is that from like Jackson?
About an hour.
Yeah.
About an hour.
That's where
or
south.
Tupelo. South. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Man, I'll tell you what, man, I've driven that drive so many times, the Natchez all the way down. It's the most beautiful drive all the way down to Tupelo.
Yeah, down the Trace.
Yeah, down the Trace.
Yeah, man.
Trace is a pretty area.
Yeah, we were coming up your way this spring going turkey hunting, and we decided to take the Trace up to all the way to, I guess, Jackson.
I do it every time I can.
Dude, we were seeing turkeys or something.
Yeah. Which you had, that made me think, you had a pretty eventful turkey season, didn't you?
Oh my gosh. Like I think we shot more turkeys at my like house than I did at the farm, like it was
wow.
I would come, we drive, hour 15 to get to the farm, and then, hear them just everywhere. And then right when they pitch down, they shut up. Like, I mean,
Typical.
There's only 2 good mornings, I think with, and then I come home and then drive out to the field, and there'd be strutting like 5 strutters out there. And on my it was my birthday. I was like, it's my birthday. I'm killing a freaking bird. And so I was like, I don't even care. It was so hot. You know, it was like the first like 85-degree weather day. And I just got on my belly and I didn't have a fan with me. So I like, luckily, you know, we had some tall grasses out there and it kind of rolls over. So you can kind of low and slow, kind of waddle like a duck over there. So I was just doing that, kept peeking over the hill, you know, and finally I got to about, you know, he was about 40 yards and he was with a hen and it was awesome.
Close enough. Yeah.
Close enough. We
Got
made
that
it happen.
birthday gobbler.
Yeah.
Oh, I was sweating so, dude, I was drenched. I come back. My girlfriend's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah. But it was worth it.
It's all good now. It's all good now.
Need some water.
Is that at that the farm? Is that the Ozora farm place? You always tag on Instagram a bunch? Okay.
Yeah, that's Ozora. So it was just, it kind of started out, you know, like I got the place in 2018 and, you know, I just named it after, you know, the road I grew up on down in Georgia. So that's how I got its name.
Okay.
And then, then I got to thinking, I was just, you know, like, I want this place, you know, I want to like share this place, you know, like have people come out here and then, you know, do fun events and stuff, like do youth hunts and like do veteran hunts, you know, like Wounded Warriors and team up with them. So, then it was kind of all came together when I was doing a video shoot and I had a hat on and I think it was like duck camp or something. And the label had to go contact them to get permission for me to wear it in a music video. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just going to make my farm hats and I'll wear that. So that way it's mine. Like, we don't have to get permission. I will just do different logos, different styles, different hats. That way I don't have to worry about that. And I can sell the hats and then a portion. And so I made it so where a portion of those proceeds go to like Dream Hunt Foundation and cool, like, man. You know, go all these organizations, you know, that, you know, take these kids hunting who are like terminally ill, you know, are disabled, you know, like those kids in wheelchairs. Like, so we'll take that money and like, you know, make blinds or go get those blinds you can wheel wheelchairs in. Yeah. And we'll have them out at the farm. And that way, you know, when we do like a youth hunt and we got some kids from like, I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know whether, you know, which organization or like St. Jude or something like that. Like, hey, we got these kids who want to get outside, you know, and hunt for the first time or something. So we'll take them and do that kind of stuff. But like, just a percentage of the proceeds from like selling these hats, they'll pay for that and pay for their families, you know, meals and lodging and stuff like that.
That's cool,
man. Yeah, I had no idea you did stuff like that. That's pretty great.
Yeah, man. I've learned a lot because at first I was like, you know, starting my own foundation, do all that, and I learned real quick, like get my, you know, lawyer, like do all the paperwork and stuff, and apparently you got to have like a certain amount of people for a board, and you got to have a monthly meeting, and like you got to have like all this stuff with the IRS, and like it was a lot of different stuff. So that's the long-term goal with this, to have our own foundation. But for now, as we get our feet wet in and get started, we're just gonna be teaming up with these other foundations and offer our facilities and our stuff for them. Say that, you know, they got a group of, you know, Wounded Warrior Project is looking for a farm in Tennessee to take their guys, you know, from you know, Fort Benning, Georgia or something, come up to Tennessee and hunt or something. So you know, they can come over and do that. But yeah, that's kind of the goal and the mission of it, is just to offer a place that, you know, people like that who won't get a chance to. Sorry.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's
we're excited.
Good to hear.
It's been a learning. Sorry.
Anything that's worth it's going to be a little bit of a learning experience, right? So I mean, it sounds that really is cool though. That's cool that you're doing that. What is you've probably been asked this question a ton of times, but I'm curious. Like, what is the COVID, the whole like deal with not being able to play shows or anything? How's that been for you?
I mean, we were talking about that the other day. I mean, honestly, it's pretty bad. Like, you know, because, you know, it's not just me. It's like the whole industry of touring. It's just gone, like done right now. And a bunch of people count on, you know, like my guys. I had to, you know, let go of my guys for now. I couldn't pay them anymore. So, you know, I had to let them go until we get back on the road. And, you know, they had to find other jobs. I'm trying to find different ways to, you know, find another source of income. Cause, you know, a lot of guys in my position are like where we're at, the up and coming stage. You know, we count on touring as a big majority of income and to make this the business. It's a bit, you know, it's the cash flow of it. And when you say no touring, it's like, well, that's okay. Well, that's not good.
Yeah.
A lot, man. I mean, my last show was March 12th, and we're finally getting back on the road for one show, and it's called Rum River Jam down in Georgia. They got, you know, it's usually like 20,000 people there, and this year it's only 4,900. So when tickets went on sale, you know, it crashed the site. You know, it sold out in a couple hours in one day. You know, it's like, you know, but I don't know how. I really don't care how they're going to do it. I'm just glad we're making the baby steps to get back to getting back to shows. Just getting back to it's like I think we're all over it. We're all tired of this. It's just it is what it is at this point. We just need to get back to living normal lives and taking precautions when it's necessary, but at the same time we can't stop with it. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, man, I think like obviously I'm no expert, but it's a pretty safe statement to say that everybody is ready to just get back to some form of normal life.
Yeah.
And not being able to go to a live show, that's not normal life. Like to say you can't go attend a concert, like, no, man, like that ain't cool.
Can't you go to a movie?
Yeah, it's so wild. It was wild to me is how long it's lasted. Like when all this started, I was like, a couple months and we'll be back to normal. What's September the 8th? We're still dealing with this.
6 months.
Yeah. That's what I told. I was like, y'all, we need to figure out a plan because I'm tired of going through this week by week thing. Like we need to set a time. We're like, okay, we're going back this date and we're sticking with it. Like I'm tired of backing things up more and more and more. It just puts that's just more stress on everybody because it's like you make plans, you make financial plans, you make, you know, moves to get there, and when you keep bouncing it back, it just like, I mean, it's catastrophic. Honestly, it's absolutely right now. It's getting to the point where it's like, okay, we need to start taking a stand and doing something, even if it's like, you know, smaller clubs like right now, 1,500 cap rooms, where it's like, okay, you want to come to a show, okay, sign a waiver to get in the venue, and that, I mean, if that's what we got to do, that's what we got to do.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, because they're talking like, I mean, some like these big, like these amphitheaters and these arena shows aren't happening at all, you know?
Yeah.
At all.
So. I often wonder how long it would be before, because I mean, and it's crazy to think about it because before the year 2020, a venue like that, but I would think it was crazy if you said all this was going to happen. But now, if you said there was going to be a concert and they fill up one of these big arenas like you're talking about, I'd be like, there's no way. There's no way. It's just it's all changed so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on the
only good part. Go ahead.
No, man, you go ahead. You good?
I was just saying the only good part of. Sorry, y'all hear that guitar?
Yeah, it's all good.
It is. He is rocking now.
He's fine, man.
Yeah, I was just saying the only good thing about this whole deal has just been, you know, me being able to be creative and writing songs and stuff and working on this album and be able to hunt more. You know, like we, you know, during turkey season, I think I was out there every single day. You know,
yeah,
because like I'm not able to do that when we're on the road working all the time. So that whole month of April, I was outside every single day calling turkeys, doing whatever, just having fun. And like, I was like, this is awesome. But, you know, at those first couple months, I was like, man, this is badass. Get some time off the road, get to hunt. And then now it's like, okay, I know this whole deal's been great, but
let's go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask you anyway. I was going to talk about if there'd been any positives to it. But, I mean, obviously, you get to spend more time out turkey hunting, that counts as a positive. But, yeah, I can see. Shoot, I was talking to Charlie about it yesterday, about the same thing when we were riding to go duck hunting, and it's just like I can only imagine from people in y'all's position that y'all just probably getting a little bit stir crazy, just wanting to go.
Stir crazy, man. Stir crazy. You know, we did like a live band thing for like a fan club. So they got to like watch a live performance, the full band. So that was cool to do, but it still wasn't the same. I had to act like we actually did it at a venue at a club, and you know, it's just weird doing our whole set with no one in there. Just
yeah.
It's like you can only do that so many times. They're like, yeah, you can find other ways and do live streams. I'm like, but like, yeah, we can do that a couple of times, but I'm not doing this for months. I'm not doing it.
I'm sure you get a lot of your, you feed from getting fed from the crowd helps you perform better too.
Oh yeah, it's like, I mean, we feed off each other. That's how you get your energy, get you fired up, and you just because I love just getting wild and just bringing energy to the stage and just having a party and having fun. It's kind of hard to when you got an empty room.
Yeah,
you can't. I mean, people are watching you just can't see their reaction or anything like that. So
kind of like putting on a show in your bathroom, looking at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah, it's like I'm driving myself crazy doing that.
Dude, I heard
it gets kind of weird after a while.
It's probably a little bit awkward. Like you're like,
we did one time. It was just like me and my guitar player were just sitting there, and it was literally we're in a little room like this size, and we had a film crew, and we were doing this just live, and we played a song, and the whole film crew was just they're working, they're not, and then one guy was like. Just to make us feel like we did something right, because we're like, all right, next song, here it is.
Oh man.
Oh, that's funny. Golly. So we've already kept you probably longer than we needed to. So but we'll end on this question. So the velvet hunt didn't go as planned.
No, sir.
Do we have what's your I know you've got to have some sort of plans for the upcoming deer season since the velvet hunt didn't go.
Yeah, I'm going down. So every year we try to go every year in December, but this year I got to go in September. So beginning of my buddy's got a badass farm in North Florida. It's like right near the South Georgia, Florida line down there, and I go there every year. We go quail hunt, we go fish, we go, go shoot redheads off the coast, and just make it a whole week. And this year, it's a little earlier than expected, but hey, I've been doing a bunch of management bucks for him the past couple of years, so hopefully this year he gives me the nod to go ahead and smack. Because last year there was just like, they call him Lincoln, and he was about 40 yards to my left, and my eyes just got set. I was like, oh my God. He's like 3 years old, and when he was like every bit of 155, and I said, can I? And he goes, oh no. And so hopefully they'll he'll give me the green light on a good one this year. We're gonna try to go down and bow hunt there for a week, and then I'm going to Nebraska. Not Nebraska. I don't know why I just said Ohio. Going to Ohio, and hopefully beginning of November, and then we go to Illinois, Southern Illinois, the end of November or early December. So,
and you're gonna have a good deer season. Sounds
you
like.
Stay busy.
I hope so, man. It's like in those little trips, it's only like maximum 4 days, and
sure, yeah.
So it's like you try to get it done as quick as possible. So I've struck out past 3 years in a row in Southern Illinois, but it keeps me going back because I'm so close every single time. Like, I've had the same deer, just 80, 70 yards from me both years in a row, right before the rut kicks in. And so hopefully this year we'll catch up to them, but who knows?
I hope so.
Yeah, man.
For your sake, I hope so.
You're going to be traveling more than we do, so that'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, we do the elk thing and the turkey thing deer season. We're pretty much in one place, except you get
That's one thing I haven't done yet is elk hunt.
You
I've
need
never
to.
really hunted. I know. I watch videos probably every single day. I follow Cameron Haynes, and I just like watch all his stuff. That dude is a madman.
Madman is an accurate term. Yeah,
he's awesome. Like, I'm like, God, I don't want to run as much as you, but I want to kill the elk sheep.
I think anyone wants to run as much as that dude does. But he kills some elk, though. No doubt about that.
I appreciate y'all having me on, though. This has been fun.
Dude, look, for real, I know you're busy and you squeezed us in, and so I really appreciate it. It's been a fun conversation. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. I'll have to add Mississippi to the list this fall, hopefully.
Let's do it. I'm down. Just let me know when, and I'll be there.
All right, man.
I heard that, man. Well, we'll sign off. Enjoyed it, man. And for all y'all listening, thank you for listening to Speak the Language podcast. John, thank you, bud.
Thank y'all, bud. See you.